Happy birthday, Old School! It's Oldschool Runescape's 9th birthday, and this year the celebration takes us to the great land of Al-Kharid. I can't wait to find out what kind of dire situation I'll find myself involved with this year. This year's party planner is Chancellor Hassan, so let's see what catastrophes await. Hassan greets me with a warm welcome, and I proceed to interrogate him as to what I will need to do to help him get his party going. After much back and forth, and a little doubtfulness about my mental state, he simply tells me that all is going to plan and the only thing I need to do is partake in the various activities. He says if I am able to keep his guests engaged, he will reward me with an advanced prototype of some sort of invention he's been working on. This I gotta see. There are 3 events throughout Al-Kharid. Our bumbling pirate friend Captain Arnoff is leading a treasure hunt by the bank. The leprechauns, led by Larry, are hosting a fishing contest by the Oasis, and the ever-pleasant troll My Arm is running a cook-off by the duel arena. Since it's the closest, I'm going to head to the bank and see what the good captain has to offer first. You know Captain Arnoff. He's the guy who randomly shows up at the most inopportune time and asks you to open his treasure chest using a combination consisting of coins, bowls, and bars. Today, however, he's decided that he's going to hide his treasure chest instead. His little game is simple. He hands you what appears to be a clue scroll and you have to follow it. Each correct guess leads you to the next clue. The first step says you must dance in front of 4 statues which are facing each other. Since the only place there are 4 statues facing one another is in the palace, that's where we head to first. After performing my little happy dance, another clue magically falls at my feet. This one has us decipher an anagram in order to figure out who to speak to next. This one is pretty simple. We need to go see Ranil in the plate skirt shop. She congratulates us on solving the exceptionally difficult riddle and hands us our 3rd and final clue. This clue states, I provide a means to attack, 4 to be exact. This takes us to Zeke in the scimitar shop. Why? Because he sells 4 types of scimitars, that's why. Once we're there and speak to Zeke, he hands us a challenge scroll, which wants to know exactly how many balloons are in and on the building. This took me a minute when I did the event on my main because I didn't think to actually go up the ladder. But when you realize there are 3 floors, not just 2, you find out that there are 9 balloons on the roof, 12 on the 2nd floor, and 9 on the 1st. 30 balloons in total. Armed with the answer, Zeke gladly hands over the treasure chest, and now it's time to bring it back to the good captain. The captain informs me that, miraculously, I am the first person to actually find his treasure chest. He congratulates me and says that he'll inform the Chancellor. I offer to take the chest back to Zeke again so that the next schlub can find it, and he declines, stating he enjoys the walk. Oh well, on to the next event. Over by the duel arena, we find a troll named My Arm. As we will find out down the line, trolls are actually named after the first thing they ate. My Arm and I will become best buds at some point. Anyway, My Arm has decided to come here to sample some human food, and as such has decided to host a cook-off. You see, My Arm feels that human food is bland and tasteless, so he's looking for someone to cook something exotic and exciting. First person to impress him wins. Wins what? Who knows? We'll give it a go. First thing we need to do is confer with some of the other contestants and see if we can get a leg up in the competition. We decide to speak to the lumberjack cook first and see what he's up to. He states that he's submitted the best pizza he's ever made, with the finest cheese and plumpest tomatoes, and My Arm basically told him to take a hike, saying it was exciting but not nearly exotic enough. Next we find Hans just wandering around like he normally does and question him. Unfortunately, he is not very forthcoming with information because he is trying to win the contest. Good luck there, buddy. Finally, we speak to the wise old man. This ought to be interesting. He proceeds to tell us that his submission should have been the clincher. He submitted something that was sure My Arm would enjoy because he was sure trolls do not have anything like it normally. A banana. Holding back on my own laughter, I asked him how it went. He said My Arm told him what he could do with that banana and said, while exotic, it was not very exciting. Armed with this information, it's time to come up with my own entry. Seeing as how the cook delivered a pizza that was exciting and not exotic, and the wise old man handed in a banana that was exotic and not exciting, I figure why not combine them and make a banana pizza. I grab my ingredients and get to cooking. Honestly, probably the most disgusting thing I can think of. It might just be good enough for a troll. As I go to submit my entry, I am constantly interrupted by none other than Hans. Vying for my attention, I excuse myself from the troll and go see what this other troll wants from me. He proceeds to tell me that I'm about to lose the competition even though I'm so very close to winning. When asked why, all of a sudden he has a change of heart with helping me. He states that he would love to win, but would rather see anybody win since my arm has rejected everything else. He suggests I burn the pizza because trolls love burnt food. Seems like sound advice, so that's what I do. I present the somewhat improved concoction to my arm and he is ecstatic. He says that it's both exciting and exotic, with a bit of a crunch that trolls love. He declares me the winner of the competition and sends me on my merry way. Over by the oasis, I find Larry the leprechaun doing what he does best, sitting on his ass doing nothing. I inquire as to what's going on and he tells me that he's hosting a fishing contest. Biggest fish wins. Really, at this point, he states any fish wins since nobody has seemed to have caught anything. So he hands me some bait and a fishing rod and sends me off. After a few moments of not catching anything, I decide it's time to start asking around. I speak to the nearby fisherman, Big Dave, who apparently is the reigning fishing contest champion. He agrees that there doesn't seem to be anything in the pond biting any kind of normal bait. He suggests talking to Ali the merchant to the east of us, as he may have some local fishing bait that may work. Now, Ali is the type of guy who would sell you a raw chicken if you talk to him long enough, and he does, and not just raw chickens. So I ask him if he has any kind of bait that would work in the oasis, and he proceeds to tell me that he would be willing to give me some if I were to pick up a report from Osmond on trade activities in Brimhaven. I'm deep into everything already, so why not? I head over to Osmond, who is next to the palace, for the report, and he has no problem giving it to a complete stranger as long as I can answer a very difficult security question. He asks, how many crates are all around Ali's stall? A quick peek with the detached camera shows there are 3. He hands me the report, and I head back to Ali. I give Ali the report. He finds out the report has something to do with chocolate and begins wondering how he could manage to stock some while preventing it from melting in the desert. Happy with this news, he hands me one lousy piece of bait and kicks me to the curb. I guess one piece is really all I need anyhow, so back to the oasis I go. No sooner than I cast out my line, but some tiny fish darts out of the sand and takes the bait. Noting how hilariously small the fish is, I figure if it's the only one caught, I may have a chance of winning. With my prize catch in hand, I return to Larry. Larry, obviously not wanting anything to do with anything but catching some rays, declares me the winner of the contest, since I was the only one to catch anything. He sends someone off to inform the Chancellor and requests that I keep his lounging around a secret between us. With that, all of the activities are finished. Now it's time to go see the good Chancellor and speak of all the fun and exciting things I have done here. I make my way back to Hassan at the palace and tell him of the wondrous time I had participating in the various activities. He tells me that he's pleased and has been hearing nothing but good things from all of the people throughout town about my involvement. So, because this is the main reason I am really here, I question him about my reward, and he tells me to meet him out by the well. So, after a few moments, Hassan comes gliding along on none other than a pair of skis. He tells me how he came up with this invention because of the coarseness of the sand and how it gets everywhere when you travel. This invention allows him to glide, or skid, along the top, and he's named them skis, because of the skidding you have to do when turning. I ask him if I can use them on snow as well, and he balks, saying that he would not recommend it as the cold would surely damage the wood. With that, this year's birthday event is complete. I have a whole ton of crap to play with now, but first I need to try out these skis. These are awesome. I love these. I'm going to use these so often now. I think I found my look for the next quest. Speaking of which, Season 2 begins in April. Be sure to be on the lookout. A lot's happened over the last couple of months. You'll see some big changes in the upcoming episodes. For the better, I hope. If you haven't noticed, this video has also been giving you a slight preview of those changes. The first couple of episodes were recorded prior to this event, so there will be a brief period of playing catch-up. But with that, please be sure to drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to get notified when new videos drop. Until we meet again, go in peace.